Hello, my beautiful friends. Yesterday, I finished an incredible gym session, and I feel like I've been on such a good flow in my workout routine lately. And I feel like whenever I am in this great workout flow and just feeling motivated and inspired, there are certain things that I do to really push myself to continuously grow and just like align my goals with the actions that I take on a daily basis. And I'm thinking that maybe you want to get in the best shape of your life. I think that a lot of us want to get in the best shape of our life. And I just want to start off by saying that the things that I'm going to share today, you can apply and use regardless of your age, whether you are 16 years old, if you're 26 like I am, or if you're 54 years old like my dad is. My dad is in the best shape of his life right now. And he was a bodybuilder when he was young, just to put that into like perspective. Then he had his 30s where he had young kids, his 40s where he was, he had his moments where he was not in a great shape. But now he's back on track. And he's probably, actually I haven't talked about this with him, but I'm sure he's using some of the same tools that I'm going to talk with you about today. I'm really excited because I really just believe that when we push our bodies past the point of where we normally would stop and we see ourselves grow and we connect with that inner power and that strength that our body has, I just feel like it compound effects in all areas of our life. And at least for me, when I got in the best shape of my life, I completely changed. Like my entire self-belief and self-trust and confidence, all of it changed. It had everything to do with me seeing myself every single day, get up and taking the action and pushing myself past the point of where I normally would stop and say, this is enough. Enough is enough. I'm done now. No, I kept going on the tough days, on the hard days. And I really think that that is key when we want to get in the best shape of our life, because it is going to get tough sometimes. And yeah, so I'm really excited about this episode, and I'm going to give you some tough love because that is what I've given myself. But this tough love that I've given myself has benefited me times a million. Maybe you're like me and you like to come up with excuses, which is something I still do. I still like to come up with excuses. I still sometimes like to be lazy. And in those moments, I need the tools that we're going to talk about today. So yeah, I hope you're okay with a little bit of some tough love to get this goal of yours started. Because maybe you've had this goal for years and you just haven't done anything about it. And I'm really hoping that what we're going to talk about today is going to get your ass moving. I just quickly want to share before we get into it. It is currently 3 a.m. I'm sitting in my bed in LA drinking my second cup of coffee with a suitcase that is open and a complete mess. And that is because I am just in LA for 2 days right now. I've decided to become a nomad for a little bit. So I'm going to be leaving again tomorrow. And while I'm home, there's of course a ton of different things that I want to get done. And so yeah, I'm kind of sitting in a mess right here, but my workout routine is on point. So I'm feeling like, I'm feeling good, and I'll repack today. Everything's going to be great. I just kind of wanted to let you know about that because yeah, maybe my workout routine is on point right now, but my life, or what can you say, the messiness of my home is not. And, we all have our flaws. So I just wanted to make sure that you were aware of my flaws. Okay, let's jump in. You have to set a goal. You have to start with setting a goal. It is so important that you know exactly, specifically what it is that you're going after. If you don't have a goal, you don't know the direction to take. You don't actually know the action steps you need to take. If you just say, oh, I want to get in better shape, it's just not clear in what does that mean? Does that mean that you're going to work out a few times a week and then you're going to get in better shape? Maybe. But you have to set such a specific goal so that your brain, it makes it so much easier for your brain to understand what that will take. Because once you have a goal, you can create a plan and you can create a daily schedule. And that is when you can commit to that. If you're just like kind of have a goal, kind of have a plan, then the chances when you are sitting on your couch on, let's say, Thursday night and said in the morning, yeah, I think I'm going to work out today, there's so much bigger of a chance that you're going to not do it. We've all had those days. I sure have. But when I have a clear goal and I have committed to myself that I'm going to do it, then there's a lot bigger of a chance that I actually get it done. And this is basic stuff, right? But we got to get through the basic stuff to get to the more advanced stuff. Actually, none of what I'm going to share today is very advanced, but it definitely is all I've needed in order to get in the best shape of my life. So back to committing. There are different ways that you can commit to yourself. And I think that for some people, that means investing in a trainer, that you maybe write a contract for 3 months so that you are locked in, like you can't just say, I don't feel like it today. No, to get in the best shape of your life, you got to be all in. You got to get up and put in the work. And every single day when you've promised yourself to do it, you do it. And when there's a trainer waiting for you or maybe an accountability buddy, then there's just so much bigger of a chance that you're actually going to get up and do it. There's just something about having another human involved that makes us keep the promises more so than if we only had a promise to ourselves. For some people, that's what worked. I actually did not do that. For me, I decided to get in the best shape of my life because I got to a point where I'd wanted to change my habits and just completely get into shape for years. And I hadn't fully committed. And then at one point, I was just sick and tired of myself, of continuously trying, but then not fully committing and then going back. And it was just this constant cycle. And at one point I realized what I wanted to do with my career. And in my mind, I was like, okay, if I want that in my career, I have to look a certain way as well. So that was for me kind of my reason for it. I think we always have to have a why. So that is another thing when you have a goal, but you have to also know why is this important? Figure out why is it? If you don't know your why, the chances of you doing it, then it's when you lay in bed or on the couch, it's but why should I do it? But then if you remind yourself of that why, of why it's important, it's so much easier for you to get up and get it done. And that why was so strong for me, but I also used other tools that we're going to talk about today. But yes, understand your why if you want to commit. Another way to commit is that you invest money, that you do a bet maybe with a friend that you say, if I don't stick to this promise, then I'm going to give you whatever amount of money, or maybe you transfer the money and then you can only get the money back once you've completed this. It doesn't have to be money, but I think for a lot of people, money is an important thing that you're willing to do a lot for. And so if it's whatever, we all have our ratios, but some amount that is so large that you're willing to fight for it. You're willing to put in the work on those days where you just don't feel like it, that you can remind yourself of that amount of money. Or maybe you go on a vacation once you've completed your goal. Whatever works for you so that you have some sort of commitment that is keeping you excited and keeping you accountable in continuously putting in the work.
And then I always highly recommend that you create a plan, a weekly schedule on how is this all gonna fit in to your daily life, into your routine, so that you know exactly when you wake up in the morning what to do to actually achieve your goal. So now that you've set the goal and you've figured out why it's so important for you to achieve the goal, and you've made sure that you've fully committed and locked in to stick into this daily routine that you've created for yourself to actually get you there, I want to share a few tools that I felt incredibly motivating and just kind of kept me going on the days where I haven't felt like it. And it's just made the whole journey and routine a whole lot more fun and exciting to me, and still does to this day.
So in the beginning, I would watch so many different people's YouTube videos and listen to podcasts as if it was a religion. I would be so immersed into these people's lives, and it just put this fire up my ass in I want to create a life like that for myself too. It just got me so excited seeing other people who had achieved this thing that I want to achieve. And I think that till this day, that's why I am so excited about YouTube and podcasts, because it literally has changed my life. With social media, I feel like it has its flaws, but it's also beautiful because it can inspire us. We decide whether we get jealous or if we allow it to inspire us and to push us and challenge our norm to think bigger dreams and set bigger goals for ourselves. And for me, YouTube and podcasts and even Instagram, and I don't know about TikTok. TikTok's just a fun app, but those different apps and social media platforms has just played such a big part of my growth because I can see other people doing it. And when I can see other people doing it, knowing that I'm a human, that I can grow if I put in the work, then I realize that I can do it as well. So figure out like at least one admiration that you can get inspired by. And maybe you made it a habit that before the gym, you watch that person's 5-minute motivational talk or one of their YouTube videos or whatever you can do to get inspired and get motivated for you to achieve that thing as well. Secondly, something that I feel makes a massive difference is that I always try, at least, to set an intention before a workout. I really think that for us to get the most out of a workout, the most out of every single set, we have to set an intention. Because when we do that, I think that's what makes the entire difference on whether or not we go a little further, whether or not we push just a little bit harder than what we did during the last session. And to make progress at the gym or running or with whatever exercise that you do, all it takes is that for every single workout, we just go a little bit further. That is what we call progressive overload. And that literally is all it takes. And if you continuously just push yourself a little bit harder for every single workout, eventually you are going to get in the best shape of your life. But that does require setting an intention before the workout so that you know and you're clear in your mind before you enter whatever place you're going to do your workout in, that you are going to push yourself, that you are going to go a little harder. Because if you don't have that intention, it's so easy for us, or at least for me, I don't know if you're like me, but to stop when it gets challenging, when it feels uncomfortable. And it's the same. I mean, that's when I set an intention before every set, that's what makes the difference on whether with the same weight, I'm able to do 8 reps or 12 reps. It's so insane how much our brain and our mental state affects how much effort, how strong we are in a working set during a dance class. I'm a dancer. If you're new to my platform, hello, my name is Pernilla. I moved to LA to pursue dance and then realized that I wanted to do other things in my life, for example, such as this, where I challenge my own norm and hopefully inspire you to challenge your norm. I got a little sidetracked there, but what I was trying to say is that I have danced a lot in my life, and my dance ability and how well I do in a dance class always depends on whether or not I've set an intention before a dance class. If you've not done this before, if you've not set an intention before a workout, try it and pay attention to the difference it makes. That is just something that I would really highly recommend for everyone to try. Okay, the third thing that I want to talk about is something that's really simple, but I just think it's crazy important, and that is to see your goal, to visually be able to see your goal. And I have made a lot of vision boards in my time on this planet, and it's insane. And whether or not you believe in vision boards, maybe you believe in law of attraction, maybe you believe that when you see a goal, when you can kind of experience and feel yourself almost already having achieved that goal, when you immerse yourself in the world of what it is that you want to achieve, sometimes things just kind of fall into place. I have made a few vision boards, like I mentioned, in my lifetime, and it has blown my mind what has come from that. So I feel like I can't force you to do anything, but if you've never made a vision board, I really would wish and hope for you to just maybe search on Google for 5 different images that, I mean, you could do more than that. I'm just trying to make it simple. Maybe even just 3 or 2 or 1, whatever, that you print out a photo that represents the goal that you want to achieve and put it on your wall so that every single morning or maybe every day when you wake up, you see this goal in front of your eyes. Or maybe you hang it up in front of your desk so when you're working during the day, you see it and you get immersed in this goal, subconsciously or consciously, whatever. I just believe in manifestation, and I would just love for you to make one. And this kind of leads me to the next point that I want to talk about, which is identity. And I think that this is something that you're going to hear me talk about a lot on this podcast, which is that a human / you cannot take consistent action for a longer period of time if this action does not align with the person that you believe yourself to be. Okay, I'm going to say it again because I really want you to get this. You cannot take consistent action for a longer period of time if this action does not align with the person that you deep down believe yourself to be. This is powerful because this means that if you currently have an identity, a belief about yourself that you are a lazy person who never can stick to the schedule plan and the goals and the things that you set for yourself, then you may make a plan and create a goal and all this stuff that we've talked about today. But it's just a matter of time till you stop. And that's why maybe you've been in this constant cycle, which is what I was in for a few years or for years, and just like getting on and off track. But this does not mean that you cannot change your identity. That is what I did. I changed my identity, and you can do the same. So I would love for you to either pause this episode now or maybe later today, that you just sit with yourself for a moment and you write down what is your belief about your identity currently. And I think awareness is key to making any change in life. When we're aware, then we can actually do something about it. If we're not aware, then, we just continue to live in our norm and we can't challenge it. So figure out what your current belief is about yourself regarding this goal that you want to achieve, and then write down or think about what would you like for your new belief to be about. I just want to mention there's no right or wrong thing to think about yourself, but I do believe that we should think something about ourselves that serves us, right? And what I believed back in a few years ago, before I fully committed to getting in the best shape of my life. I'm continuously saying best shape of my life because that's probably going to be the title of this podcast. And so I wanted to be that being the thing, but really it's just getting in the shape that you deep down want to be in. I went off sidetrack again there, but before I had gotten in a really good shape, I realized that my identity, the belief I had about myself, was that I was just normal. That was my thing. I was normal. So yes, I danced a lot, did a lot of cardio, I did some workouts, and I ate normal. But I wanted to change that. I wanted to be an athlete, and at the time, I wanted to get signed with Wilhelmina Models, the fitness department, because that was a goal I wanted to achieve, which ended up happening because I did get in shape, and I used a vision board and all this stuff that we can get into in other episodes. But I decided to change my identity to believing that I was an athlete. And when I started daily telling myself, I'm an athlete, I started taking action like what an athlete would do. So when I was laying on the couch and I did not feel like going and getting in that workout, I would tell myself, I'm an athlete. And because I told myself that, because I started to believe that I was an athlete, I would just get up anyway, because that is what an athlete would do. So figure out what is your current belief about yourself, and then figure out what are you going to tell yourself on a daily basis, as many times throughout the day as possible, to change this identity. And trust me, slowly you're going to see yourself taking different aligned action in the sense of aligned action with your new identity. And it's powerful. And you can use different things like sticker notes that remind yourself of this, or daily affirmations, or maybe your wallpaper on your phone or on your computer is just a little reminder of this new identity that you want to set for yourself. Okay, moving on to the next little thing that is actually really strange and weird if you're a normal human, but I don't really care because it helps me so much in pushing through when I am doing a workout. And that is, I talk to myself. So when I am doing an intense sprint and I feel like stopping, I tell myself, you got this. You are unstoppable. You are powerful. Sometimes I'll just choose one and I'll be like, you're unstoppable. You're unstoppable. You're unstoppable. Or I'll say, I'm unstoppable. I'm unstoppable. I'm unstoppable. And it is crazy the amount of strength and power I feel when doing that. So Oh my gosh, just give it a try and then reach out to me on Instagram and let me know if you've done that, because just give it a try. You may think it's weird, but you know what? We're all about challenging the norm on this podcast. So allow yourself to be weird. First of all, who cares? Secondly, who cares? And thirdly, who freaking cares? If you can reach your goal and create confidence and self-belief and self-trust within yourself from doing this thing that you wanted to do for so long because you're talking to yourself, then who freaking cares? So just give it a try. Okay, the next little thing that I like to do is that it's kind of similar to setting the intention, but it's more of like goal-based. So I like to, if like, let's say I'm doing a workout, I like to either set a time for how long I need to stay in the gym, or a distance, or just some sort of workout plan, because it just helps me push through, because I can easily be tired after 40 minutes. But if I set a time to 60 minutes of a workout, not that you have to work out for 60 minutes, this is just something that worked for me. So then I actually realized that for the rest of the 20 minutes, I'm actually able to do more. I'm actually able to push through and get more done, where if I hadn't set that goal, I would just have stopped after the 40 minutes, and maybe I wouldn't have fully pushed myself harder than I did the previous time. And this is just, again, just a way to push yourself a little bit harder than what you normally would if you hadn't set a goal. And the same if you set a time for like run, if that's like 20 minutes, like don't stop at 19 minutes and 58 seconds. Complete the 20 minutes. I think that's more of it's not that the 2 last seconds count, but mentally, I think it's so powerful when we keep a promise to ourselves. I think that's how we build this self-trust within ourselves, that when we set a goal, that we know that we can trust ourselves to actually complete it. So when we see ourselves actually sticking to the 20 minutes and not cutting off 2 seconds before, we slowly start building the self-trust that when we tell ourselves we're going to do something, we actually do it. And self-trust is everything, right? It's everything when we want to achieve a goal, because we got to trust that we're going to do the thing that we set our minds out to do. So yeah, just set a time or a distance or have a plan and then keep it. Because if you want to build self-trust, I think, for me at least, that's been the way to go. Now, this is another simple one, but it's powerful. Yet again, it's powerful. And that is that on the days where you don't feel like it, just think about getting to the gym or getting out, moving your body on the run or whatever thing it is. Just get there. And once you're there, don't remind yourself of this, but once you're there, just think about getting in the warm up. And I think naturally, once we're warm, there's a bigger chance that, okay, let's just do one set or one rep and just continuously think about that one next thing, because there are going to be days where we don't feel like it. But if you want to get in the best shape of your life, those are the most important days of all. It is those days where you don't feel like it that are going to determine whether or not you reach your goal. So just think about getting there. Just think about the warm up and then just one rep or one set. And I've done this so many times, and before I know it, I got in the entire workout, and the proudness I feel of myself for doing it, and of course, the incredible benefits of the adrenaline rush just makes me feel amazing. And you know how they say, like, you always regret not getting in the workout, but you've never regretted actually getting in the workout. And I think there's some truth to that. So just focus on one little thing at the time, and just like, try to shut your brain off. I often try to shut my brain off. When I do my 10-minute morning sprints, I like to shut my brain off, because thinking about the fact that I have to do something that uncomfortable is not a very joyful thought. So just shutting my brain off and just getting it done, then it's going to be over before I know it. And then I'm going to feel incredible and feel really proud of myself. The beautiful thing that I mentioned quickly in the beginning about getting stronger physically is that you prove to yourself that you're capable of doing challenging things. And that just compound effects in all areas of your life. My life changed completely in my mindset and my belief about myself, and the wideness of the goals that I allowed myself to set, because I realized that it doesn't matter that this thing I want is challenging, because I know I can do challenging things. And I know that when I promise myself something, that I actually do it. So just regardless of what your goal is and what your why is to do it, please, if you have an inner knowing, an inner gut feeling that you have to do this thing, I just want you to do it for yourself. I want you to challenge your norm and commit and do it. And I hope that this podcast could inspire you or spark something within you to actually finally do it. You can follow my workouts on Instagram if that works, or continue to listen to these podcasts to hopefully continuously get inspired. You can get my workout program or my recipe books. As we know, food is crazy important if we want to, first of all, have the energy to get in the best shape of our life, but also if you have a physical goal that you want to achieve, then I think another day we'll get into more of like the nutrition aspect of this, but today was more of like the workout part of it. But really, whether you decide to try my workouts or someone else's workouts, it's not really their workout program. Like, there's so many great workout programs out there, and it doesn't really matter what you choose. What matters is that you commit and you stick to something. You stick to the one that works for you, and you stick to the goal and the commitment that you set to yourself, and that every single time you push yourself just a little further. That is the absolute most important thing. So don't think that you have to go out and find the perfect workout program or the perfect whatever. There is no perfect. The only perfect is that you every day take one little step further. And of course, have your rest days as well. That is crazy important. Your muscles don't grow during the workout. They grow during rest. So just create a plan for you that you feel is sustainable for a long period of time. If you can't sustain it, then what's the point? Then you're gonna, end up at a place where you've been a million times before, and we don't want that. We want you to succeed this time, and at least that's what I really want for you. I just think that when we commit to a goal and we see ourselves do it, I just think that it leads to a life that is better and greater than we could have ever imagined. And that's what I want for you. I think it's the coolest thing ever. If you feel like this episode in some way, shape, or form was useful to you, then I hope that you're willing to share it with a friend or maybe on social media. And I would love any feedback as well to get better, because I'm new to this. I'm a baby podcaster, and I want to get better, and I want to give you a ton of value. And yeah, if you liked it though, subscribe. I think that's what you do on podcasts. Have a beautiful day. Remember to set those goals. I hope that you are good to yourself, and remember that to change, you have to challenge your norm.